The habits that made me financially free in my 20s, 30s. Have you ever scrolled through social media, seen someone your age traveling the world, buying a house, or investing like a Wall Street pro and thought, how are they doing this while I'm just trying to survive until payday? I used to ask myself the same thing. Back in my early 20s, I wasn't financially free. I was financially stuck. Paycheck to paycheck, no savings, no plan, and definitely no investments. But something shifted. I realized that if I wanted freedom, the kind where you don't stress every time the rent is due, I had to change not just how much money I made, but how I handled money. And here's the truth. It wasn't one big lottery win. It wasn't some secret millionaire's trick, and it wasn't overnight. It was a handful of habits. Small, almost boring at first, but powerful when repeated consistently. These habits built the foundation that made me financially free in my 20s and 30s. Let me share them with you. Story by story, mistake by mistake, win by win. You are Habit 1. Living below my means. Without feeling deprived. The very first habit that changed everything was learning to live below my means. Now, I know you've probably heard this 1,000 times. But let me explain how I actually made it work in real life. When I got my first real paycheck, I thought I was rich. I immediately upgraded everything. New phone, dinners out, shopping like I was a celebrity. Within 2 months, my account was empty, and I realized I had basically nothing to show for it. So I flipped the script. Instead of asking, what can I afford? I started asking, what's worth it? I cut out things that didn't genuinely make me happy, like expensive lattes I didn't even enjoy that much, and redirected that money into things that mattered, savings and experiences. Surprisingly, I didn't feel deprived. In fact, I felt empowered. This one change, choosing value over appearance, was the seed of my financial freedom. Habit 2. Paying myself. First, even when it hurt. The next habit was something my older cousin told me. Always pay yourself first. At first, I didn't get it. I thought, I'll save if I have money left over at the end of the month. Spoiler, there was never money left over. So I started treating savings like a bill. Non-negotiable. Every time my paycheck hit, I set aside a percentage, at first just 10%, later 20%, into a separate account I didn't touch. Some months it hurt, especially when unexpected expenses popped up. But over time, I got used to living on what was left, and my savings quietly grew in the background. That little nest egg gave me options. Options I never had before. One day, I looked at my account and realized I had 6 months of expenses saved. That was the first time I felt truly safe. Borshis. Habit 3. Learning how money actually works. I'll be honest, I was financially clueless at first. I thought investing was only for people with thousands of dollars lying around. I thought passive income was just some scammy buzzword. But then, I picked up a few personal finance books, listened to podcasts, and started following people who explained money in plain English. The more I learned, the more I realized. Wealth isn't about luck. It's about systems. It's about understanding compound interest, taxes, inflation, and how money grows over time. One of my aha moments was seeing how just $200 a month invested in an index fund could grow into 6 figures over the years. That made me obsessed with investing, not as a gamble, but as a habit. Effortlessly. Habit 4. Automating my money. Here's where I stopped relying on willpower and let systems do the work. I set up automatic transfers. Part of my paycheck went straight to savings, part to investments, and bills were auto-paid. That way, I never had to think about it. This habit was life-changing because it eliminated excuses. Even on months when I was tempted to skip saving just this once, the system saved for me. It's not about being disciplined all the time. It's about building systems so you don't have to be. Jashis. Habit 5. Investing early, even if it was small. My first investment wasn't glamorous. It was just $50 into a simple stock index fund. At the time, it felt like nothing. But here's what happened. I watched that tiny investment grow. Some months it dipped, some months it rose. But overall, it trended up. That gave me the confidence to add more. I didn't chase the hottest stocks. I didn't try to time the market. I just invested consistently in boring, reliable funds. And boring works. Years later, those small, consistent investments added up to something powerful. The earlier you start, the less you have to contribute later. That's the magic of compounding. Chalkers, Habit 6. Building streams of passive income. One of the biggest mindset shifts I had was realizing I didn't have to trade time for money forever. I started small, selling an ebook, doing affiliate marketing, and later, investing in dividend-paying stocks. None of these made me rich overnight, but each one added a tiny drip of income. Eventually, those drips turned into streams. And those streams gave me the freedom to take risks, quit jobs I hated, and focus on things I actually cared about. Passive income isn't a myth. It's the reward for front-loading effort and patience. Habit 7. Tracking. My money without obsession. I used to hate budgeting. To me, it felt restrictive, like being on a diet where you're always saying no and feeling guilty for every slip-up. That mindset made me avoid it altogether. But then I realized something important. Tracking my money wasn't about restriction. It was about awareness. Awareness of where my money was going, and awareness of the habits I didn't even notice I had. The first time I used a money tracking app, I was stunned. I saw just how much was slipping away on things I didn't even remember buying. That awareness alone shifted my mindset. It was like shining a light in a dark room. Instead of cutting everything out, I built a guilt-free spending category. It gave me freedom to enjoy small luxuries as long as my priorities, savings, investing, and bills were covered. That's when budgeting stopped being a punishment and started being liberating. It wasn't about saying no to everything. It was about saying yes to what actually mattered. Habit 8. Surrounding myself with the right people. Money habits are contagious, more than we like to admit. When I spent most of my time with people who lived paycheck to paycheck and blew everything on weekends, I did the same. But when I started hanging out with people who actually cared about financial growth, my thinking shifted. They talked about investing, side hustles, and long-term goals. Just being in those conversations opened doors I didn't even know existed. One friend casually introduced me to index funds. Another encouraged me to try freelancing. Those small nudges planted seeds that grew into big changes. That's when I realized the people you spend time with don't just influence your weekends, they shape your financial future. Habit 9. Thinking long-term instead of quick wins. In my early 20s, I chased quick wins. Risky stocks, trendy side hustles, even can't-lose opportunities that turned out to be anything but. Each time, I lost money, or at the very least, time and energy. The turning point came when I stopped asking, how can I make money fast? And started asking, will this help me in 5 or 10 years? That one question filtered out almost every bad decision. Suddenly, the boring choices, consistent saving, steady investing, looked a lot smarter. They weren't exciting in the moment, but they built the foundation that gave me freedom later. Quick wins fade, long-term wins stick. That was the difference. Habit 10. Staying patient and consistent. Patience is the least glamorous habit, but it's the most powerful. There were so many times I felt like giving up. Watching my savings grow at a snail's pace, seeing investments dip, or getting tired of saying no to impulsive spending. The temptation to quit was always there. But every time I chose to stay consistent, to save a little more, to invest again, to keep tracking, it paid off. Slowly at first, then all at once. Financial freedom isn't built overnight. It's built through tiny, repeated actions that compound over years. It's not flashy, but it works. Patience may not be sexy, but it's the habit that turns ordinary people into financially free ones. The freedom it created. So what did all these habits add up to? By my late 20s, early 30s, I wasn't just earning money. I had built a financial safety net that carried me through life's surprises. Here's what that looked like in real terms. A fully funded emergency fund that gave me security when life threw curveballs. Car breakdown, medical bills, job uncertainty. I didn't panic anymore because I had a cushion waiting for me. Investments that worked for me while I slept. Every morning, I could check my account and see that my money had grown, even when I didn't lift a finger. That kind of silent progress changes the way you see the world. Multiple streams of income that meant I wasn't tied to one paycheck or one boss. If one door closed, I had others still open. That's what gave me confidence. Zero debt. I can't explain the relief of not owing anyone a cent. No student loans hanging over me, no credit card interest draining me. It felt like walking through life without a heavy backpack. The ability to say no to jobs, projects, and people that didn't align with my values. That was the ultimate flex. Not chasing money, but letting money give me the power to choose. But here's the part that surprised me most. The best reward wasn't the money itself. It was the freedom that money created. Freedom to travel without guilt. Freedom to help my family when they needed me. Freedom to wake up without checking my account in fear. Freedom to dream bigger because I wasn't trapped in survival mode anymore. That's when it hit me. Financial freedom isn't just numbers on a spreadsheet. It's not about bragging rights or showing off. It's peace of mind. It's waking up knowing you're safe, secure, and in control. That's the real definition of wealth. Looking back, when I reflect on those years, I realize none of these habits were flashy or revolutionary. I didn't invent some million-dollar idea or stumble on a lucky investment. I just showed up, day after day, month after month, with small, intentional steps. That's what changed everything. If you're reading this and thinking, it's too late for me, let me stop you right there. It's not too late. It's never too late. I've met people who turned their finances around in their 40s, 50s, even 60s. The best time to start was yesterday, but the second best time is today. Even one habit, like saving 10% of your income or tracking where your money goes, can set off a chain reaction you won't believe. And here's the secret. Financial freedom isn't about being perfect. You don't have to cut out every coffee or invest like a Wall Street genius. You just need to start. And once you start, the momentum builds. One last hook for you. So let me ask you this. Imagine yourself 5 years from now. Do you want to still be stressing about bills, living paycheck to paycheck, and wondering how others figured it out? Or do you want to wake up knowing your money is quietly working for you, giving you choices you never thought possible? The difference between those two futures isn't luck. It's the habits you build today. Start small. Stay consistent. Be patient. And trust that even the tiniest steps forward will snowball into something life-changing. Because here's the truth. If I could do it starting from zero, you can too. If you enjoyed this breakdown and want more real stories about personal finance, passive income, and investing, don't forget to subscribe and stay tuned. I share everything I've learned so you can reach freedom too.